Animals. That's funny.
Excuse me.
I love that.
How do I cut this to what's on?
So, casually start doing these on trains or whenever you're just a little bit distracted, which puts it in a very fun spot. The secret is you make the blanks first. Once you have those blanks, I put those in a pile. So we're going to start out by teaching you how to make those blanks, which take all of 2 minutes, and you can do it when you're drunk or in a slightly incapacitated state. And it's a very
He's
easy.
looking at me when he says
Nobody's pointing
I
fingers.
thought he scanned the room, actually.
It's super easy. So, did everybody here get a chance to make a basic book, or like take one of those blanks? Because if not, it's okay. We can teach you the technique and do everything else, and then you can do something really quick, like a circle, a square, and everything on every page. You can see how that goes.
Right.
But the basic core is just like normal printer paper like this, and then you do these normal folds. So the beauty of it is I made this little handout sheet, so that if you can read these little pictograms, you'll be able to in the future decipher how to do this. So there's 20 of them, so there should be plenty. But you can take those, we can kind of follow along if you're so inclined. It's funny because the instructions make it look harder than it actually is. You know, I should just pass these around. See, I'm learning these classic teaching techniques every minute, and like rather than manually passing one to every person. Yeah, it's a very basic fold, although it's also you can all grab a sheet of this. Actually, we'll do exactly the same technique, whether it's a guillotine or whether it's X-Acto knife, or you could do scissors as well, but you won't get as nice and cut. So yeah, we're just going to start out with a very basic fold. You're going to put the sheet in front of you, and you're going to kind of fold towards the center of the table. So you're going to wind up with a V shape. I know, it's very hard. And then, now we're going to fold back down to turn it into an M shape. We're going to take the...
Oh, I see what you mean by V, like...
Exactly.
I'm like, I see a rectangle, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I do too. I didn't quite get that.
You have to think we're going from two-dimensional space to three-dimensional space.
I have to do it this way instead of
You're making an accordion? That's not what you're doing?
So you're going to wind up with this kind of M shape in profile. Yeah, so yeah, you're basically, it's an accordion.
Oh, and then flip it and do it.
Yeah, so then the top of the M, once you're done with your M, is going to once again be facing the center of the table. So, lay it flat, that's great. Perfect. So what happens if you did it in reverse, if you had the M shape facing down, your pages would kind of be correlated differently, so it gets a little bit trickier. Yeah, so that's perfect M, and now just put it so the points are facing the table, exactly. And then we're just going to do a very basic, in half, kind of to the right, just like a book. And one of the things that's great, like people who make real books, they have this thing they call a bone folder. You brought your own bone folder, it's fantastic. But like I like ghetto style, so I use a pen. You can just kind of like go, just like along the seams.
It's a good use
Of course, Gail brought her bone folder. I love those things. I mean,
At the store.
but a pen is pretty good too. Like if you're going to be using like high quality paper and all this other stuff, but we're using printer paper that honestly we're going to be taking the book apart in a minute. So pencil, pen, doesn't really matter. And if you don't have one, you're totally fine without it. So you're going to do that in half, and then we're going to do one more in half in exactly the same direction. So like a book. And just make sure again that the kind of top of the M is towards the center of the table.
Like this?
Yep.
Top of the M.
I may have lost the top of my end.
Yeah, you can just check it.
It'll come back.
It's still there.
So you wind up with this shape. Of course, it's not bound or anything. So to do a really lo-fi binding, again, there's the hi-fi way. You're going to poke little holes with a hole poker, and you're going to stitch it. Gail can teach you how to do that awesome stuff. And my friend who does it properly, he does it that way. I take the ghetto route, and I use my stapler. And the rule with the stapler is you're just going to try to get it so that the pointy parts of the stapler are at the center of the book, rather than at the edge, so you're not going to poke your pocket. You're just going to line it up approximately, and staple it. Just one staple, super lo-fi. Easy. So we've got two staples here, two staplers. So we can just go around and do
The
that.
opposite, you want the inside the staple. inside the
Exactly,
book.
just like that. Oh, and look, you're stitching it, you're doing it right.
Oh.
Hardcore. So you know what, you actually really don't even want to stitch this one because we're just going to be taking these apart.
Oh.
I know.
I know. All right, so we've got two left. So once you get this little book, it's getting closer, but you'll still notice that it's got some seams over here. So you've got to trim those off. So either you can use the guillotine or you can use scissors or an X-Acto blade. But these guillotines are nice and sharp and pretty easy to work with, so we're going to do that. And once again, the one rule to remember is that we're going to keep this folded edge away from ourselves, and we're not going to cut the top one off. We're going to trim the right side, and we're going to trim the bottom side, but we're going to keep the top.
Which one is the top? Like
The one with, yep, see all the little folds?
so this is the top. Don't
Yep.
cut this. Just
Great.
cut
So-
the side and the bottom.
Exactly. So you cut the side and the bottom. It might even be easier to just, you'll notice that some of the books I just wrote the word back on the back, which keeps track of it. You get this little fold at the top, little fold at the top, like that. And that's the way it should be. It feels a little weird.
Get like double pages.
Yeah, double pages, exactly, to use the scientific term.
That's great. So now you have to cut it.
So a whole book of A's. You're going to be taking your books apart.
Not right
After you've drawn in it,
Here's a handout.
there's a handout.
I have
indeed.
one. I read it.
So once you've taken your books apart, you're going to kind of forget what the
numbers?
sequence of which page. So I usually like to pencil in the little number at the bottom. You just go through, and you can have the cover either be number 1, or in this case I usually use F for front and B for back. And you go through and you just go 1, 2. In this case I would go super light because you don't want it to photocopy. You could always erase it, but
Making a book, but cutting up my friends.
Five and ten.
right.
5 and 10. All right, that matches up now.
Yeah.
And it's the 4 pieces.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, I'm done. You got it? Did it.